Hey folks, what you're seeing here behind me is the NIO ES8 in Israel, and they have just doing a demo of Intel Mobileye autonomous driving. Some more specifics in this video, and well, I will show it to you. I'll give you a little bit of my commentary around it, and so you can see what NIO is doing there. But first of all, what you will see in this video is different from what I have shown yesterday in the video that I spoke about all of the NIO cars that are spotted in Europe currently, in Spain, in Italy and elsewhere, that have this NAD logo on it, which means that this is NIO autonomous driving. So this is their in-house solution, although you also see a LiDAR on top, some special equipment on these cars, but still this is a different hardware set than what we are going to see in this next video. And so this means NIO's autonomous driving strategy is kind of let's say flexible, viable. They have different paths and approaches, and I will be talking more about the specifics of that, but today just demonstrating the other part, not the NIO in-house and with their own algorithms, their own hardware, that is with the Aquila sensor suite and the ET7, for example, in the market. But no, this time it's rather about Intel Mobileye, to which NIO is providing cars into the fleet.
Hi everyone. Last time we uploaded a video, it was from New York City, driving the busy roads of Manhattan. Today I'm going to take you for a ride with our Mobileye robotaxi for the very first time. We debuted this vehicle at IA Mobility in September of last year, and now it's the first time that we are showing you Mobileye Drive in action, our level 4 self-driving system. On the one hand, the computer vision subsystem, on the other hand, a full surround radar LiDAR subsystem. I hope you'll enjoy the ride. Please come along.
So the first things he's mentioning here is, for one, it's level 4. And by the way, that's the same that NIO is striving to achieve with their NAD, so the in-house solution. But Mobileye will be demonstrating here at their level 4 system. And in the background, you can already see also that they have added hardware to the NIO ES8. So for example, here at the back, but also on top, more visible, different LiDAR systems. And you can also bet that inside the car there is different compute system as well, which he mentioned. And so this is not the specs of the ES8 that you get directly from the factory. However, NIO is directly working with Intel Mobileye here, and they are, as far as I see from the presentations from both NIO as well as Intel Mobileye, the preferred partner from the China side. And additionally, NIO was first of actually being able to deliver such cars. Yes, other OEMs can also use this technology. However, for example, Volkswagen wasn't able to deliver the cars that they wanted to also have in this testing fleet, but NIO did.
So let's select the first destination. We're going to go to New York Square, and let's go. So we're driving now to our first destination. Think about this as like ride-hailing rides from the pickup point where we just departed to the drop-off point to our destination in New York Square. Now this is interesting here with the vehicle cutting us off and driving to the right.
So this is also an interesting point which he makes. He mentions what will be the business case, or the example use case will be, of course, ride hailing. And here's where Mobileye is actually the operator, according to my knowledge. So they will be purchasing the cars from NIO, but NIO will be not operating the ride hailing themselves. That might be a different scenario for NIO. Has, for example, also NIO Capital investments in the area of ride-hailing, where they also be providing cars, where they possibly either bring on their own technology, or they will apply, maybe, but that's just my speculation, Intel Mobileye technology in China. Or there are also maybe some other partners in China, for example Baidu, which we will possibly learn more of in the future. So NIO is kind of not going the path down and saying like, well, we do everything on our own, but we are active in different fields and we're learning from that. So possibly they get even some insights into the data and the way that Intel Mobileye is doing that because, for example, NIO, as far as my understanding is also one of the data collectors for Intel Mobileye here in China, so with the current NIO cars. So there is ways of how these two companies are working together here. And yeah, now you'll see a little bit more what this system can do. So you already saw like the first not normal driving interaction there, you know, somebody cutting off in the line. And yeah, this system seems to be working quite well so far with such unusual cases.
Now, what I would also like to mention is that all of the videos we have uploaded so far were with vehicles equipped with our Mobileye Supervision, our Level 2 Plus premium ADAS solution. And now this is the first time, yeah, you see our first generation Mobileye robotaxi, a ride-hailing vehicle in action, equipped with Mobileye Drive, our Level 4 self-driving system. And I should also note that this vehicle is actually now in the homologation and the type approval process in Germany, as well as here in Israel. And the goal is, you know, pending regulatory approval, to have them on the road driverless before the end of this year.
So that's the other project that you might be aware of in Germany, in Munich, where they're going to, or supposed to be launching this project also together with German car rental platforms. And yeah, I think ultimately this will also be a great marketing tool for NIO, because people will get their first experience in a NIO car actually. And yeah, here in this partnership, they'll do the so-called homologation, so making sure the parts are certified in Europe, and they also get all of the licenses necessary in order to operate such a service. So yeah, pretty exciting, and also Q4 this year, quite ambitious.
Now we are driving through Hillel Street. We came from Bezalel, driving through Nachlaot, and yeah, this is a pretty narrow road, as you could see. Yeah, sometimes, you know, on the left, we were very close. There were only like 15-20 centimeters to the vehicle on the left, and it's a one-way street with some yeah, bars and restaurants, people hanging out here. And as you can see, the vehicle is handling it pretty well, and I hope you enjoy the ride so far. So we'll also do some sightseeing today. I'll be your tour guide, and I hope you enjoy the driving, and thanks for watching. Yeah, we just had the Jerusalem Marathon here in the city. You might still see some signs here and there. As you can see, we have all these speed bumps mapped in the map, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. So
yeah, so he's making an important comment here, because he says like the speed bumps, they are mapped. So you can see that this system is relying on a bit of mapping, and yeah, especially if you try and compare it to what Tesla is doing, who are claiming that they're not mapping. Instead, it's entirely vision only. And yeah, the difference here would be that Tesla should, in theory, be able to operate anywhere without a map or without knowing the actual environment, and, you know, kind of by themselves trying to find a way onwards. And while this system is more like, it seems like, in a way geofenced, one could say. It needs to drive where the mapping exists, and thereby can handle such obstacles maybe in an easier but only in a pre-mapped way. And yeah, let's see what else he's going to talk about. Yeah.
We're driving now towards Mamilla Mall, and Mamilla is another, small neighborhood in the eastern part of the city center. And now we're going to turn to the left. This is an unprotected left junction, no traffic lights here. You see a pedestrian crosswalk right in front of us, another pedestrian crosswalk on the left, 2 lanes coming from the left. You see e-scooters, motorcycles, fire vehicle, and 2 lanes coming from the right, 1 turning left. Of course, we'll give priority to everyone else who has the right of way. And we're negotiating with human drivers, and this guy does an unprotected and illegal U-turn here. Bit crazy. And looks like it's our turn now. Yep. And on the right side we have the Waldorf Astoria, a beautiful old hotel coming up here. And straight ahead we are seeing Mamilla. So the Mamilla Mall, if you look to your left, straight left there, that's the kind of main entrance. A little bit of a gate. Yeah, quite a few motorcycles here, and busy road. So as you can see on the map, we're going to turn left here, and we'll have time later on to talk about the technology and about the system a bit more. So the old city is not too far away from here. We'll show you around in a bit. We're going to drive by the old city walls. But first we're going to turn left here and then turn left again into another small neighborhood here in the city center. Yeah, you see the beautiful Mamilla Mall here on the right. Yeah, we're driving up the hill. And then left again into this small neighborhood. Again, a one-way street. And pretty narrow. Yeah, deep urban roads. Yeah, lots of cars parked here on the right and left. And challenging environment, and as you can see, sometimes it's only like 15-20 centimeters on the right and on the left. And the vehicle is of course managing it well, as it should be.
As you can see, at that spot it wasn't really
pretty advanced.
Probably in terms of how a human driver would drive it, right? But still pretty straight going through it, and despite all of these challenges, I would say. And also, like, I'm also watching, of course, the FSD videos by Tesla. I would say, maybe here it's having those advantages that it's pre-mapped in some areas. We'll see what they say about this technology, and thereby maybe a little bit more fluent here than what we could see from a Tesla FSD video.
First destination. So this was the first ride-hailing ride with our Mobileye Robotaxi. I hope you enjoyed it. So from here we're going to select our next destination. Next destination is Mamilla Mall. So we're going to drive to the northern part of Mamilla Mall, and basically drop ourselves off there. So this is our second drive. We're going to zigzag the city a little bit to show you around and show you the performance of our Mobileye Robotaxi, our first ride-hailing experience. Going from different points A to point B And of course, you can use the Move It app to hail the ride and get from A to B once the service is launched. And in Munich, we are partnering with the Six Group, and in addition to the Move It app, in Munich you'll also be able to use the Sixt app to hail the vehicle. I personally think that it's actually very challenging here in Israel and especially in Jerusalem to drive, even as a human driver. And therefore it's actually a good testing environment because, you know, if you can drive here and some other very challenging places, then you can drive everywhere. And yeah, we really believe in testing in the most difficult environments is very important. And of course we are, you know, seeing our environment here. We detect everything. You can see, of course, all the cars on the screen here, the motor scooter here ahead of us, and all other road users, including the pedestrians here on the right as we're going up the hill, changing lanes now. And turning right. This is interesting. So pedestrians, yeah, walk on the street and kind of jaywalk here across the vehicle, ahead of the vehicle. So of course we'll give them right of way, whether they cross on the crosswalk or not. And yeah, Mamila is to our right. Yeah, it's getting tight again here. I like these challenging drives. It's fun, and it's great to see the performance of our first Mobileye robotaxi generation. Okay, so this is actually the northern entrance to the mall, at a beautiful Italian restaurant right here next to us. So let's select the next destination. We'll go to Baka. That's in the south of Jerusalem. And this is Route 60, so we came from, let's say, kind of the western side of the city now to the east part. So Route 60 is a north-south connection, and we are driving south. Now here on the left is the old city wall, as you can see. Jaffa Gate is just to our left. Yeah, one of my favorite places is actually Old City. And now we are merging from 2 lanes to 1 here and continuing down this hill. Zion Gate is to our left as we get down this hill. And it's yeah, a beautiful area here also. And to our right, it's kind of like an artist's district. And
okay, so he's perfectly demonstrating here like how this can be used as a ride-hailing trip,
going on here.
making different trips in this environment, and using this intelligent driving, autonomous driving feature built by Mobileye here. But also still this is pre-mapped, so it seems like those routes are kind of laid out for the system, and that makes it less scalable than, for example, the approach that Tesla is going.
Ahead, actually, up that hill is Yemin Moshe, another old neighborhood. I think it was
and what's also interesting is, of course, like how can this, especially with NIO, operate in terms of also with battery swapping. Of course, the car can drive on its own into the swap station, drive out, get a new battery, and thereby also being faster on the road again than having to, for example, rely on supercharging only. So that's quite interesting as well, isn't it?
Some beautiful old photos actually of Yemin Moshe and the windmill in the snow. And actually we had snow again this year. It's very seldom. But yeah, we had it actually last year and this year. It was beautiful. Okay, driving up this hill, we have the Mount Zion Boutique Hotel coming up here on the left. I think it's closed for renovation right now. And yeah, we're continuing driving south on Route 60. German colony is basically to our right here, another beautiful neighborhood. And yeah, Baka is to the south of German colony. Okay, so this is a cleaning vehicle. So they're cleaning the streets of Jerusalem here, driving very slowly and yeah, maneuvering around the cars, merging to the left, of course, paying attention to the surrounding traffic, making sure that it's safe to change the lane.
Okay, that one wasn't too impressive in my point of view. It struggled a couple of times overtaking, but
Yeah,
ultimately made the right decision, right?
Crossing,
But still, yeah,
line, so we moved
still
out
some
the lane.
improvement until it behaves like a human driver.
So let's talk a little bit about the technology. So our Mobileye Drive has, as I mentioned during the intro, two independent subsystems. Our computer vision, our camera-based subsystem with 11 cameras. We have 7 8-megapixel cameras, and these are, you know, long-range, high-resolution, yeah, 8-megapixel cameras, and we have 4 short-range cameras, basically fisheye, full surround, greater than 190 degrees viewing angle. So one in the front, one in the rear, in the center, and then one on each side in the mirrors, in the most outer point, to have a perfect view of all the surrounding. And basically, this camera-based subsystem is capable of performing the driving task. And it's not just the sensors, which are unique and independent, but also the compute. So we are using 8 IQ5 high SoCs, which are our own, you know, design, so vertically deeply integrated hardware from the SoC to the PCB to the full ECU, all the way to the software and to the sensing. And actually just changed my mind here and selected German colony as our next destination. So just to show you that I can also select a different destination while we are, you know, performing a ride. So as I just did, you can, you know, just use the app and select a different destination. So now we're making this right turn here, and then we'll talk a bit more about our secondary subsystem. So the secondary subsystem uses radar lidar sensors primarily as you know, an independent sensing state and its own localization. And also the radar lidar based subsystem is completely, yeah, capable of performing the driving task. And it has its own PCB, so a secondary PCB with its own, you know, IQ5 SoCs, and, you know, even its own independent power supply. And so we have, yeah, dual power supply, dual PCBs, dual sensing modalities and sensors, and of course also dual communication with the vehicle, with the different actuators. We call this true redundancy, and it is actually inspired by aviation and contributes to a highly robust system. So the more independent a subsystem is, the more robust the overall integrated system is. And in addition to these, two sensing states, one generated by computer vision and the second one generated by radar lidars, both also with its own localization. We have actually a comfort sensing state, which is based on the fusion of all sensor modalities and all sensors, and that's only used for comfort decisions to make more smooth maneuvers and transitions. But this is one of our USPs, a very unique approach, part of our Mobileye Trinity. And we believe this is the best way to reach high safety grade. And
200 meters, you will reach your destination.
now we're gonna reach our next destination here.
So here's interesting, of course he talks about the whole text system. And this one is two subsystems, so the vision only, and that's similar to the Tesla approach, just relying on cameras, and the LiDAR system, another subsystem, and basically each of them is running on their own, so there is some redundancy, which they call for safety there. And so yes, this technology is not provided by NIO. This one is coming from Intel Mobileye and added to the car. That's what you've seen in the first pictures. But it's somewhat similar to what NIO has with their own system, right? NAD-based subscription service is also on this new platform called Aquila, and with the supercomputer Atom, so also relying on the latest technology in terms of camera system, the latest technology in terms of compute power, and also of course with the watchtower design you have also the LiDAR on top. So also different systems there. And these are the NIO systems that are in-house, for which, for example, range housing is in charge for the driving algorithms. And we could expect, as this is also L4, so level 4, that the NIO in-house system should actually behave similarly to what we can see here now. But once again, these are two separate systems. One is by Intel Mobileye, one is NIO in-house.
Okay, we have reached our next destination here in German Colony. This is Emek Rephaim Street, also pretty well known, lots of restaurants here. So let's go to the first station. That's to the north of German Colony, and yeah, it's a beautiful entertainment place and great for the kids. Some carousels. Okay, we have an e-scooter here. Seems to be also very interested in our car. Of course, we'll make room for him. Okay, continuing up north, so driving by this bus, paying attention to pedestrians, I let them cross. And
honestly, maybe that's the German in me, but this overtaking the bus who was blinking to go on the right and start going left, I think that wasn't kosher,
okay,
to
so
be
let's
honest.
talk about our maps. So our AV maps are completely auto-generated based on REM, our road experience management, road book information, which we are harvesting from, way over 1 million connected vehicles, which are sending us about 10 kilobytes per kilometer. That's actually very, very little. And in that 10 kilobytes per kilometer, basically everything you see on the screen, from the the drivable surface, the lanes, the lane markings, the drivable path, as we call it, this thin kind of dotted line there in the center, or about the center of each of these lanes, and also all the connection points, all the pedestrian crosswalks, all the signs, all the semantic information, also about the stop lines and the traffic lights, which traffic light belongs to which lane. Massive amount of information, and of course also all the landmarks and vertical structures and so on we need for centimeter precise localization. And this is something very, very unique, because this map is continuously updated as millions of vehicles on the road send us this information. A lot of it's mostly, I should say, human-driven vehicles currently. And this is a massive competitive advantage. If you think about, all of our competitors, basically they have to, send mapping vehicles out. Now, this is also interesting. Some illegal maneuvers here, but no problem. And so basically, any of our competitors, if they want to go to a new city or a new rural area, they have to send out mapping vehicles. They have to map that area, and by the time they're done mapping, basically the map is already outdated. If you don't have this constant flow, this constant crowdsourced harvesting of information from the actual roads, including then seeing construction sites, other modifications, it's basically impossible to maintain these maps. And everything we do is about safety, number one, and scalability, number two. We believe that this is key to success. And now, it's almost a 180-degree turn here to the right, very narrow. Oh, this is very interesting. The lane is blocked, and we are driving around as we should. And the bus gives a sign that we can actually drive through. So it is very tight, but not too tight. And we'll be driving through here and make this maneuver and drive around the bus as well. So, a challenging situation, even for a human driver, but managed pretty smoothly.
Wow, this was really impressive.
Also showed actually RSS in action, or responsibility sensitive.
I haven't seen any FSD video where they managed around such kind of a situation, to be honest. That was quite impressive, to be honest. That was a serious road blocking there, and I'm not sure if there is the light signal, if that is kind of something that you can model with your autonomous driving algorithms there. But anyways, back to the topic of the mappings. It's an interesting addition of what he's mentioned there. Of course, I was already aware of how they mapping the roads with all of the vehicles that have the sensor suite, and NIO was one of the first to have those mobile eye sensors actually on their cars, even already with the ES8, and collecting data for them. And there are other brands as well doing that, and so it's not only in China, but there is actually an Intel Mobile Eye presentation by the CEO, in which he goes through the presentation of who are the preferred partners and in which regions, and NIO is the one mentioned in China. And so the interesting part here is not only that they are collecting data and continuously in order to create those kind of maps, is that he mentions like you basically need this kind of a fleet to do that continuously. And because yeah, he's got a right point that it's very, very hard to keep track if you need to send out road vehicles to actually do that. On the other hand, from a Tesla perspective, and he is not mentioning Tesla there, they also have millions of cars on the road and doing just exactly that as well. Plus, Teslas are not really even using maps, at least that's what we know so far from, they don't use those kind of mapping information, but rather rely fully on the visual based and approach. And so, yeah, it's an interesting mix here, and well, there is an issue around the question of like how well is the quality of the data, for example, in comparison to what Tesla is doing with the full vertical integration and their own in-house technology. And also in relation to NIO, the question would also be like, how does NIO benefit from the data that they are generating? They're providing it to Intel Mobileye, but will they also in return, for example, have access to maybe even the Intel Mobileye data in the entire world? Maybe can they use it even for their own autonomous driving? Will it also rely even on such kind of mapping? We don't really know that so far, but I will make more videos on that in the future, of course. But anyways, this is just about this Intel Mobileye approach here, and so interesting to hear those technical details here.
Formal model for safety, so we have arrived at our destination, so let's select the next destination. I'm going to go to Honeybee Road from here. Okay, I'm going to pay attention to another jaywalking pedestrian. And RSS is the basis of a new IEEE standard. It's called IEEE 2846. And it does formalize a model for safety, which is very important. Once this is released, regulators from around the world can actually refer to this industry standard like they do, refer to UNECE or ISO or other IEEE standards, which is quite common in the industry. And if you want to learn more about it, actually our CTO, Professor Shai Schwartz, just gave a presentation recently. Can recommend you searching that on YouTube and watching that lecture and presentation. So it's all about ensuring safety and supporting our scalability efforts. At the end of the day, we want to be the #1 partner for automotive manufacturers. As you know, we have already 30 plus and basically all the major brands from around the world as our partners, as our customers, already in the ADAS product segment, and now increasingly also using cloud-based mapping services for enhanced ADAS, and now going into premium ADAS, which is our Mobileye Supervision, which basically is kind of half of Mobileye Drive as a full level 4 self-driving system. Mobileye Supervision is an L2 plus premium ADAS solution with just the primary subsystem with exactly the same cameras, the 11 cameras I explained before. Of course, you can find more about this as well as in some presentations, for example, from CES 2022, but also last year, 2021. Now you see this bicycle driver here. Of course, making sure that he is safe. Yeah, especially vulnerable road users, pedestrians, bicyclists, e-scooter drivers, but also motorcycle drivers.
Alright, I will be stopping this video here because otherwise it's getting too long. But anyways, I think that was a nice demonstration of this cooperation between NIO and Intel Mobile Eye, which we'll also see then in more destinations such as Munich. And you can see like how well it is working even in these kind of situations there. And yeah, if you are interested in more of such longer takes, I do them actually regularly on my Patreon. For example, in the past I've been doing a video recording about the NIO Europe head of power, an interview that he's done. I also gave my commentary around that one. Then some other NIO videos that are in Chinese. I usually kind of do my own analysis around the first-hand sources that I can get from NIO, and then add my commentary in English, of course. Then and this can be longer videos that I do on Patreon, as well as some other topics that I'm currently keeping just to the Patreon community, for example, SAP Health. So if you're interested in that, make sure to join the Patreon. So this, even from the $5 tiers, gives you access to such kind of more bigger posts that are let's say 2 times a month, or even more than that, sometimes more, about summarizing the current market conditions and which kind of triggers I see out there. And if you're part of the $10 tier, you also get access to this website, which is a community feature in which patrons can actually make their own posts. I post videos and also some of these patron-only videos, as well as that we have a group chat here and covering many different topics from NIO, Tesla, some Chinese stocks, of course, and general, also more cultural topics, industry trends, and also trade signals from my side. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching it till the very end, and then see you in the next one. Please like and share as always. Make sure to be subscribed, that you get a notification also if you hit the bell button, because I'm doing more frequent content currently. And so thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.